What's up, guys? It's your boy Ish, and you're listening to Loudly Saying It. And no, this is a new soundtrack, so if you're loving it, let me know, because I love it. And it was free. It's got Afrobeat to it, and it was produced by, I believe it's Nana Kwabena from Ghana. Shout out to him. But I needed a change when it came to the podcast, because I wasn't vibing anymore with that soundtrack, and some of the things that happened, I just wasn't vibing with. But your boy's here. I just wanted to catch you guys up on what's been going on in 2021. So let's jump right into it. I hope we're going to have a lot of fun, and let's get to know each other once again. All right, let's do it. Hey, guys. So like I was just saying, this is a new twist on the podcast. But let me just recap what has happened so far. So I started a podcast back in 2018. And back then, the podcast was called Apparently with Mr. Gander. And I thought that was like a crazy, awesome name, you know? Why did I choose that name? So a lot of people tell me, say, yo, Ish, when you talk, you use the word apparently a lot. So I said, you know what? Why not name my podcast Apparently with Mr. Gander? So I did. And I used that from 2018 till 2019. So probably about, towards the middle of 2019. Then I realized, like, look, I'm really not feeling this name anymore, because some of the conversations we're having are conversations that need to be said out loud. And I need to change the name. So I said, okay, if these are conversations we need to say out loud, and these are conversations I want black men to be talking about, like discussing, I'm going to change the name to Loudly Saying It. So, of course, with the name change, with the brand rebranding and everything, your boy came up with a new soundtrack, which at that time felt like something that a podcast would sound like, you know? So I went with it. I did a portion of season 2 with it, and then jumped into season 3 with it in 2020 during the lockdown, because we're still in the pandemic, during the lockdown. And I was feeling it. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Your boy loves it. I'm feeling it. So let's do it. And I had some awesome interviews with this new soundtrack and everything. Got into season 3. Got to talk to an awesome author and black father out of Canada, Kern. Kern was awesome. If you haven't listened to that episode, go ahead and do it. It's episode 15. It's called Black Fathers and Teenagers. Of course, I had the lovely Reba the Diva, who came back on to support, and that's episode 16, another session with Reba. And just go ahead and listen to those 2 episodes, and you will love them. And I did a collabo with the ladies from 30 Over 30. If you haven't listened to their podcast, go ahead and do that. Jump onto their podcast and listen to it. It's called 30 Over 30, and they're doing amazing things. Now they're on hiatus right now, but they'll be back soon. And after that, I went to an hiatus myself, and was working on other projects. And my company, 86 Majesty, we got our first employee. Shout out to Spencer out of California. And we were just working on the back end of the website and all that stuff, because we're trying to get ourselves ready for the second half of 2021. So a lot of other things were going on, and I decided to put the podcast on the back burner. But I'm back, and I'm back because of a few things. But the first thing is the podcast has to keep going, and I've been doing some coaching and telling to be more consistent with other things. And I felt like I was being a hypocrite if I'm telling my mentees to be consistent with the stuff and don't give up on stuff and just keep putting the things out there, and me not doing the same thing. So I decided to come back and go ahead and do it, So here I am doing the same thing that I'm telling my people to do. So how's the podcast going to work this time around? I was doing the episodes every other Friday. A new episode will come out. But I realized that because I was doing that, I was giving myself an excuse to not work on certain things. I would say, well, I got another week. And then the week comes, then I'm scrambling to get things done. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and not having enough time to get the podcast to where I want it to be. And then I said, well, I want to do a video with it. And I realized I don't always have to have a video for the podcast, even though I'm still playing around with doing videos, which I'm still going to do. But as far as content for this podcast, I don't always have to have video. Now, if I want to do one where there's video and then there's audio, I'll go ahead and do that, but not always. And then I realized that talking about video, I had this real estate, which is YouTube, my YouTube channel, which I've not been using. I barely ever use it, barely ever post stuff on it. And of course, you can still listen to the podcast on YouTube because of my platform that I use. They share that to my YouTube channel as well. You can still listen to the podcast on YouTube. It's just you won't see me talking. So I decided, well, I'm going to use my YouTube channel more, and I'm going to make more videos and little other things here and there. And I have my coaching thing going on, Destiny Chasers Academy, DCA, shout out to them, and all these other little things. The mind of an entrepreneur, right? And that's even crazier when you have the mind of an entrepreneur and somebody with all these things going on at once, multitasking, which that's the definition of being who we are. But I wanted to change the structure of the podcast. So I decided, and I know this is going to be rough, instead of me just working on one episode every 2 weeks and giving myself all this extra time to do all these other things, I'm going to put the hammer down. I'm going to do it weekly. And I don't know. I want to do weekly every Friday, but I know on Fridays a lot of people getting out of work, they're trying to get other stuff done and going into work. They're already in the mindset that I just want to finish the work week. So I'm going to do it on Saturdays. Every Saturday at noon, there's going to be a new episode. Now, there might just be episodes of me, or there might be episodes of somebody I'm interviewing, or a couple of us having a conversation. But this time around, it's going to be every Saturday. And I'm just going to be consistent with it. I already scheduled all these dates and times already. So all I need to do is just plug in my edited files, boom, 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 and it's going to go. And to help me with that, I got me a Rodecaster Pro. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, Ish, you don't need a Rodecaster Pro to be consistent with your podcast. No, I don't. But tell you what, it definitely helps me, because now I don't have to worry about jumping on my computer, knocking my recording out with either Audacity or using Audition or using GarageBand, and then having to edit that stuff, put these two things, like blend my intro, my outro, whatever, and all that stuff together so I can have something that I'm comfortable with, and then schedule it on Spreaker, type up my notes, and upload that thing or schedule it where I can just get on my Rodecaster Pro. I don't even need to be in front of my computer. And I can do this from anywhere because I can take my Rodecaster Pro with me and my mic, get a power connection, have my memory card, boom, my intro and everything's on my Rodecaster Pro. I do it, save it, and upload it. That's it. Now, I know a lot of people say you can start a podcast with just your phone, which is true. You can start your podcast with just your phone. I think my very first episode was with just my phone. And my very first episode that I interviewed somebody was horrible. And for some reason, I cannot get that to upload again on Spreaker. And I'm talking to them to see how we can recover those very first 3 episodes. Because if you check the podcast, you see it starts at episode 4. But some of the other platforms that it's shared on, you see you have episode 1 and all the way through 16. But let me just tell you, the very first episode I did was on my phone, and this was just one of those, after I watched one of these YouTube videos, like, you know what, don't keep thinking about when you're going to start, just start and do it. I was like, you know what, let's do it. Got on my phone, did the recording, and posted it. Did it sound good? No, it was crappy, but that was it. That was the first episode. It was posted. It was out there now. Told people, hey, I'm a podcaster. Why? Because I just made an episode and I posted it. I posted a podcast episode. So by definition, I'm a podcaster now. Does it mean that I'm a consistent one? No, but I'm a podcaster. I can always tell you, oh yeah, I do podcasts. You can check out my episode. I say, you know what? I need a second one. And I did a second episode. And I found out one of my friends, colleague that used to work for me when I was a manager at Express, was coming to town in a DMV. And I said, hey, you coming here to do your music. I am new with my podcast. Do you want to jump on? Shout out to Brittany. And if you don't know, or you've not already followed her, make sure you follow her on Instagram. Instagram is, it's Brittany Bloom. And she's awesome. You just listen to her music, support her, and just show her some love. And it's Brittany Bloom. That's ITSBRITTANYBLOOM. She's an artist from the South. Worked with her at Express. Awesome human being. And she was so gracious because everything that could go wrong went wrong during that episode. My mic was crappy, but hers was perfect. So I was fine with that. It's like, well, I don't mind sounding like I was underwater as long as she sounded great. A sister was with her, and they were very patient. And this was my first time recording outside of my home, and I was at Camp Space, and shout out to Patrice for letting me use Camp Space. And if you're not already following Camp Space, you should go ahead and do so. Camp Space has been all over the place recently. If you're in the DMV, you see it on the news, and their Instagram page is Camp Spaces. That's CampSpaces, and the owner, Patrice, is a friend, and we connected actually after I did something with Camp Space a few years ago. And you can follow Patrice as well. She's a Momcation Pro. Like, her Instagram is Patrice Camus. That's PatriceCameau. Go ahead and follow her, and shout out to her for letting me use the Camp Space and doing my first interview for the podcast. And funnily now, the space actually has a podcast studio. When I did my podcast then, they did not have one. Who knows? Maybe if I'd continued doing it there, I'd be one of the regulars doing my podcast out of there. But I love the space, love the people that go there. I met a bunch of awesome people. One of them is also, and today, I know it sounds like I'm just giving shout outs, but hey, this is me just appreciating how far I've come. I met another awesome person there. Her name is Christine Hargrove, and Christine actually is somebody who, I don't know if you're watching the new show with, what's the name? I think it's Bethany, but let me make sure I find the right person, because I don't want to tell you the wrong information. And yeah, this is not a scripted thing or anything. So yeah, Christine Hargrove, she's part of the show called The Big Shot on Max, I think on HBO Max. And Christine's page is KrystinHargrove, Christine Hargrove. And she's on season 1 of The Big Shot on Max. So go ahead and check her out. Shout out to her. And we connected. I was there one day. She walked in. Of course, me being the introvert that I am, I'm just sitting there going through whatever I was doing at that time on my computer. And she just struck a conversation with me. And next thing you know, we've known each other for the last, 2 years now. And she's helped me out with my business. And I've tried to help her out with hers as much as I can. And she's given me so much information on being an entrepreneur, because she's a full-time side hustler. I guess her side hustle is her main hustle now. So she's a full-time business owner running her thing, doing her own thing. And she's the CEO of Co-Tripper, which is a platform for single mothers traveling with their children, or mothers traveling with their children. But she's doing awesome with it. So show her some love, show Patrice some love, and Cam Space and Brittany, because those are the people that were the very first few people that got me going. And then the next person that I actually ended up interviewing was Darylis Lyons. Darylis, she actually connected with me on Instagram, and she's an awesome author. And I said, you know what? I'm really new into the podcast world, and here's somebody who is well established in what she does, reaching out. I am not going to turn the opportunity down. So I jumped right on it and decided that I was going to do it, because you don't get to do that a lot. You don't get people to just reach out to you. So shout out to Darylis for believing in me and allowing me to interview her. She was my second interviewee. And you can find Darylis at Darylis Lyons, and that is DARALYSELYONS. There's Darylis Lyons. And then I met somebody that I wanted to talk to, because I knew the topic that we will discuss will benefit so many people, especially black men. And that person is no other than Reba the Diva. She is a sex expert and like sex educator and pleasure educator at the DMV. And Reba was very gracious to come on and have a conversation with me, where I actually went to her co-work space in DC. That's where we had the interview, and we talked about sex. Basically, that's what it was. And the episode was called Sex Talk with River the Diva. And that was episode 7, I believe. But that established for me something that I've always been thinking. It just confirmed that, yeah, the conversations I was having was going to benefit somebody. Now, I didn't know who it was going to benefit, but I definitely knew it was going to benefit somebody. So I just kept doing it, just having this conversation, reaching out and talking to people. And you can follow Reba at REBATHEDIVA, Reba the Diva. And she's also the CEO of Sexpert Consultants. And if you follow Reba on her page on Instagram, you see Sexpert Consultants. Follow them. Sign up. You can have a session with Reba where she will teach you and your partner about pleasure and being able to explore yourselves better. Now, after that, I did a bunch of solo episodes. I talked about my favorite book, The Alchemist, which was episode 8. And if you've not read that book and you like reading books, I just want you to read it and see what messages you get from it, because the messages I got from it were just awesome, awesome, awesome messages. And then I had another guest who, well, she lives with me. So I had my wife on the show, and that episode is episode 11. It's called Riding Shotgun. And we just basically talked about our relationship, how we met, and all the trials we've gone through and all that stuff. So listen to that episode and see what you guys take from it. You guys can support her by following her business page, which is Grazing Surf. That is GrazNSurf. And show her some love, or you can actually go ahead and support her by following her page. And let me pull it up for you guys. It's called Sarah Bear. It's SARH_BEAR. Go ahead and support her. And she's been doing her blogging thing and try to get her over the 1K mark. And get her to start exploding with the whole blogging, where she's trying to do vlogging and everything. I've told her she's good at finding deals for Zara, so she probably should change it to the Sarah from Zara or something. But hey, I like that. Sarah from Zara, or Zara with Sarah, or something like that. I like that. I'll let her know. Well, go ahead and show her some support, show her some love, because she was my fourth guest. And shout out to the other people who I ended up interviewing but never actually used that content. And I reached out to them and I apologized to them, because at that time the interviews were going in a direction that when I explained it to them, I said, look, I get it. Like, this was really the topic I wanted to talk to you about, but the place that I am right now, I cannot afford to use this content because it goes against everything that I wanted to talk about, and I just wasn't feeling it anymore. And I promised and asked for some of them to get back in touch with them and do episodes with them, and they were fine. But it was just one of those, I just knew either that wasn't the right time, or it just wasn't the right message. So I decided to just scrap those episodes. And somebody told me, it's like, well, it's just save them. You can reuse them at a later time. I said, you know what? Now let's just scrap it and just start fresh. And that's what I did. Scrapped all those episodes. So that kind of gave me a lull in the podcast, because now all this content I had batch record, I did not use, and I wasn't going to use them. So I had to kind of get back from the ground up to see how things would go. Then I did my little mental health PSA, because I started therapy. Well, I didn't start therapy then. I started earlier than that. And I just saw the benefits of it, man. It was like, hey, black man, you need therapy. Like, you need to go to therapy. I talked to my brother, my best friend, Will, and he's the one that urged me to go to therapy, because he was going to start therapy. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to start therapy. And I was like, yo, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. Found myself an awesome therapist, a beautiful black queen. She's awesome at what she does. Shout out to my therapist, Shakina. And I'm not going to share all that information because I don't want you guys to steal her from me. But if you can find her, I promise you, you're not going to regret having her as your therapist. I just want to make sure that I have my time, my appointments, because if all of you guys jump on her calendar, then I won't have time to see her or talk to her. And yeah, I need that. But all that happened and we got to 2020, which was a crapshoot. And I did an episode about that. We had Corona going on. We had the demonstrations, the BLM demonstrations and all that stuff going on. And police brutality just continuing and just showing us black people that they don't think we're shit. And we had one group saying, oh, don't do this. Other group saying, do that. Other group saying, I'm not going to support because they're not X, Y, and Z. I'm like, look, this is a problem in this country. And it needs to be it needs to be addressed. We cannot continue to ignore it and pretend that it's not there. But all that happened, and of course BLM is still going on, and it's supposed to go on until this is changed. Let's don't stop the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's continue pushing for change, and until we get the change we've been asking for, let's not stop. But one thing I did celebrate in 2020 is the vacation of Cheeto Orange. And we all know who he is. I'm not going to mention his name because it's not worth me mentioning. And I'm just going to say he was a terrorist, and we allowed him to take the highest office in this country. And he caused more division in this country than any person that, or anything I've seen in the history of this country, honestly. And we called him our president. Even when the guy was leaving office, it caused so much problems. Look at what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. I mean, it was ridiculous, guys. Like, what happened at that being a bunch of black people out there would have had bodies on the floor all over the place. But it is what it is. It happened, and we got a new president. We have our first minority vice president, and things have been going decent. Granted, I still owe my student loans. I'm still waiting to see if Uncle Joe is going to change that. But fingers crossed, you never know. Uncle Joe might surprise me today. But all that has happened. And a lot of other things have happened. And I know I sound like I'm just ranting and that I've just gave you guys a timeline of the podcast and all that stuff. And now I'm going into ranting about politics and all that stuff. But it's just that a lot of things have happened in the last year that honestly, some of us would have never thought these things would happen had you asked us at the end of 2019. Because we were going into 2020 thinking like, yeah, this is new year, new me, all this stuff. I have all these goals. And boom, just like that, all that stuff, all those goals were placed on hold. And for all these people who've been working at a job, say, I've worked this job 20 years, I'm not living this job, blah, 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 and everything. And now, boom, you're home for almost a year without any work. Why? Because the job figured out that cutting you for now will help them survive. Or some of them just flat out fired people. Like, sorry, can't do it. So it forced some of us to start working and doing different things. It forced some of these people who had this talent but never applied their talents to start applying those talents and making more money during the pandemic than they ever did before the pandemic. So I want you to listen to this. People were making more money working for themselves at home than they were working for somebody else in an office building or in a restaurant or wherever it was that they were working. And they would have never gotten to this point to actually say, you know what, I am good. I don't want to go back to work if Corona hadn't happened. Because they would have been working for somebody else, putting their dreams, their goals in the back burner because they don't have the time to invest in themselves to do their own thing. That's why people say everything happens for a reason. Now, we lost a lot of lives and we continue to lose lives to this deadly virus. And until everybody's vaccinated, or until we're able to find a way to basically just eliminate it, we're going to continue to lose lives. But thankfully, that has slowed down, at least in the United States. But we see now it's exploding in India and all these other places are having issues. But hopefully we can, if not eliminate it, control it. But out of all that, all those deaths and all that stuff, a lot of people discovered themselves, discovered their talents, discovered their dreams, and realized those things. Some people made a lot of money during the pandemic. Yeah, we know some companies made billions of dollars. But I'm talking about the little guy. People started their own cocktail delivery businesses, started their own little services that they were doing from home and made money that helped them buy homes, helped them pay off their debts and all this other stuff. And other people did not use this opportunity. This is what I usually talk about when I have my AM talks, which, by the way, I also already have on Clubhouse, but I'll get to that in a little bit, that sometimes it takes certain things to happen for you to grow and get to the next level. And sometimes when the opportunity presents itself, if you're not wise enough to recognize it, you're going to miss out on it. So you have to always be ready to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves to you. But you cannot do that if you're not even able to recognize those opportunities. But if you want to hear about that, go ahead and join my text group, and then you can be on my AM talks and all that stuff. And it's an easy way to join my text group. All you have to do is text my number 410-421-7547. Just text me, hey Ish, I'll add you on my contact list, and then I'll send you a message. And then when I do get on Clubhouse, which I do every Tuesdays at 8 a.m., again, consistency. So I've been doing this for the last 3 Tuesdays now. Every Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a Clubhouse room where we talk about different things for an hour. So it's from 8 to 9 and I'm out. Sometimes it's 8 to 8:45 and then I'm out. But get on my text group. You get a text, a reminder to jump on Clubhouse. And if you don't, or if you're not already a part of Clubhouse, you're waiting to be invited, you have an iPhone, shoot me a text. I'll send you an invite. I have 5 invites I can give away. So shoot me a text and I'll do that. But let me give you just a quick update on what's going on with me. So you guys already know I changed the structure of the podcast, and I'm trying to take advantage of my YouTube channel, and I've switched the podcast from every other Friday to every Friday to weekly, from twice a month to once a week, and I'm back at work with my day job, and my company 86 Majesty is getting their and we're accepting articles actually. So shoot me a DM and I'll let you know how you can submit your articles for 86 Majesty. And once everything goes live, I'll let you guys know. But and I got myself a new Rodecaster Pro, and I've been getting more active on Instagram. If you get on my page, you'll see I've been more active on Instagram. And again, this is all about consistency. And because, like I said, I can't tell people I'm coaching to be consistent and I'm not being consistent. Then why are you paying me to tell you to do something I'm not even doing myself? And it's not like I'm better than you. And I want to show you the reason why I'm telling you to do it. So if I can use myself as an example, then I don't want you to pay me for it. So that's why I'm doing it. And the babies grew a year older. So my 18-year-old is about to be 19. He's graduating this June. The 6-year-old is about to be 7 in September. The 4-year-old turned 5, my April 20 baby. And the 1-year-old, my dad, he turned 2. So, yeah, so not only did he turn 2, he also turned 95. And he controls everything around the house and believes he's the head of the house. And I think we all just let him be because nobody wants to get on his bad side because he is the head. And I turned a year older. I celebrated my birthday a few days ago. Today's May 15th. And my birthday was about, 6 days ago? May 9th? Yeah, 6 days ago. I didn't do much for it. Went out to eat and came home. I did watch my movie, but I didn't actually go out to go watch a movie like I used to. Usually I would go see a movie by myself and all that stuff. But I just watched the movie using my HBO Max, which was awesome. And and again, Rodecaster Pro, HBO Max, all these people, none of them are sponsoring me, but I wish they could. So I'll start throwing out names and say eventually maybe somebody will pick it up, right? But that's what's been going on with me. And I'm healthy. Just got my last shot for my vaccine. I was one of those who was waiting for the Johnson & Johnson, and here's my reason why. I said Johnson & Johnson has been messing with me since I was a kid, with the Johnson & Johnson baby powder, Johnson & Johnson baby oil, and all that stuff. So if anybody was going to do something to mess with my internals, I was going to have it be Johnson & Johnson just out of loyalty. But then guess what happened? They scrapped the damn vaccine by the time I was ready to get it. So I just went to M&T Stadium in Baltimore, which if you're in the DMV, if you're in Maryland, you can go to Baltimore M&T. They're accepting walk-ins. Go ahead and get your vaccination. I went there, and I got Pfizer the first time, went back, and I believe it's Pfizer the second time. So, yeah, it's Pfizer. It must have been Pfizer the second time because if you get one, you have to get a booster from the same one. So, just got it today. I'm feeling good. And I'm telling you today, May 15th, because this is going to be posted today, hopefully by 12. And that's how awesome my Rodecaster Pro is. Like, I'm not even going to do any edits to this. I'm just going to go ahead and post it and keep it moving. But that's all I have for you guys. I know I've spent almost 40 minutes just talking. And I want to thank you for even listening to this episode. But share it with other people. And let them know what's been going on with the podcast, the history of the podcast, and what's been going on with me. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys again and share another episode with you guys next week, Saturday. So it's your boy, and I'm about to be out. But, before I get out, I just want you guys to know that I love you. Stay safe. And that you exist because somebody prayed for a destiny that only you can fulfill. Like I said, if you're not already following me on Instagram, go ahead and do so. My IG handle is theishganda. That's THEISHGANDA. And follow the podcast as well. The handle is Loudly Saying It. That's LOUDLYSAYINGIT. Loudly Saying It. and shoot me a DM. Let me know how you feel about this episode. Now, if you're not already subscribed to me on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and do so. Like and rate a 5-star. Send me a review. Let me know how you're feeling. Share with your friends and your enemies. Peace out.